Hi everybody, it's Dr. Michele Drake and I'm here today to answer some questions about feline intestinal parasites. And I'm with Nicole, who's going to help me by asking some questions. And this is our helper, Charlie, otherwise known as Charles. He's a frequent day boarder at the Drake Center, and I know he's not a cat, but he loves cats too. So anyway.
Dr. Drake, what are intestinal parasites?
So intestinal parasites are actually worms that are inside the intestines that cats can pick up. They can pick them up in utero, so in their mom's womb. It can be passed between the mom and the kittens, or they can pick them up just being outdoors and or being exposed to even other cats inside.
Okay, how does intestinal parasites impact the health and well-being of my cat?
So intestinal parasites can wreak havoc on your cat's intestinal system. They can cause cramping, diarrhea, discomfort in general, or they may not even know they have the parasites, but they definitely are not something that's good for the intestines. They can cause a lot of inflammation in the intestinal wall. And they can also actually eat some of the nutrition and decrease the amount of nutrition that your cat gets.
What preventative measures can be taken to ensure that my cat doesn't get worms or other parasites?
So we have amazing deworming, anti-parasitic type medications that we recommend. Certainly all kittens have a series of them. And then as an adult cat, we recommend, depending on the lifestyle of the cat, either monthly deworming medications or twice a year or once a year, even for some cats that are just indoor, but we still recommend that everybody be dewormed.
What are some signs and symptoms of intestinal parasites in your cat?
So if they have a really serious load, they can get pretty sick. It can cause an intestinal obstruction. It could cause really low protein levels, which can cause a pot belly. That's really severe loads. And if they have bad enough, they can even vomit worms or pass like large amounts in the stool. Otherwise, they may be just very mild, like cramping, upset stomach that you may not even notice yourselves.
Can you see worms in your cat's stool?
Yeah, you can, when they pass the stool, the tapeworm segment is adhered to the stool, and you can actually see it looks like a piece about the size of rice, and it'll be moving. Roundworms can also be passed if they have a pretty high load, and some of the other parasites can also be passed if there's a high enough load of them. But generally you don't see the worms in the stool, so we need to collect a fecal sample and send it off to the lab and have a microscopic exam of it to actually identify what type of parasite, so we make sure we're choosing the right anti-parasitic medications.
How will a veterinarian diagnose intestinal parasites in your cat?
So again, we're going to use a fecal sample, so usually about the size of a walnut, so we just need a small amount of stool, but it should be somewhat fresh stool so that it's still moist, so that the eggs are present, and we can then identify microscopically what type of parasites might be in the stool.
What are some possible conditions caused by intestinal parasites, and what are the treatments?
Some potential conditions would really just be GI upset, weight loss, protein loss, which can cause the belly to swell. So there's also dermatologic issues that can actually occur sometimes, but for the most part, it's going to be things that are kind of subclinical, meaning you're maybe not going to be able to see what they are, because parasites have learned how to live with the system that they're in so that they can stay there longer. So a lot of these infections are subclinical.
All right. Why is early detection and diagnosis of intestinal parasites so important?
So there are actually a couple of parasites that are zoonotic, meaning they can be transmitted to humans. So we don't think your cat or your dog should ever have to have parasites, and we certainly don't want children exposed to them. So we'd like to have every dog and cat that lives with a family to be on a regular, checking a fecal sample at least once a year, and then deworming every dog and cat for roundworm, hookworm, and whipworm for certain.
All right, last question. When should my cat see a veterinarian for deworming?
So when you get a kitten, you should definitely go see your veterinarian for many reasons: for a health check, to set up for a great deworming plan, and also other, parasites that cats can pick up. And then if you get a cat as an adult, they should come in and get their first set of dewormings. We're going to want to do a series of them, and then depending on the cat's lifestyle, set them up either on a monthly program or once or twice a year. So if you have any other questions about worms in your cats or how to prevent them, give us a call at the Drake Center.